Hey everybody, JTISREBORN here, and welcome to another edition of my Batman the Animated Series reviews. This time we're going to be taking a look at episode number 24, Fear of Victory. Okay, so when you hear the title Fear in the title, what do you think automatically? Gee, I wonder which villain's going to be the focus of this episode. And automatically, it's the Scarecrow. Versus the last episode where it's like Vendetta, where you don't necessarily know who's going to be the villain. Whenever there's a Scarecrow episode, it's pretty much obvious it's going to be him. Just like if it's the Joker, you can kind of tell based on the episodes who's going to be in it. But this one does have a little nice surprise going on in this one. There are some cameos from some other Batman villains. Joker does make a quick, 5-second cameo, and he's voiced by Mark Hamill. And he's basically like, the cowl is familiar, but I'm blanking on the face. So, anyways, the plot of this episode is the Scarecrow is low on money, so he uses fear on various athletes to cause them to choke in sports games in order to rig them so he can make a lot of money. And he does so by delivering telegrams to every single one of these athletes' addresses, and he is able to rig the games to where he wins based on attacking one player. Because as we all know, like with football and that, I mean, if your quarterback does bad, you know what I do if you're the coach? You put in the backup, okay? If someone is doing that atrocious, you put in the backup. And if there's something not right. And then you just rely on your defense and everything else. But I guess that's not a factor in this. I mean, if your quarterback's tanking, you at least have a shot with your defense. That is assuming if your defense is any good, but you get the idea. So, anyways, I can understand him able to, his plan to work for some of the bigger sports, like if it's a single-on-single sports, like boxing, I'm like, okay, yeah, you definitely got it there. Tennis, yeah, and then some of the other ones he did, whatever. But anyway, so the Joker's doing that. He ends up getting this telegram delivered to a college football player who just happens to be Dick Grayson's roommate. And both him and Dick Grayson grab this telegram, and then they get infected with the Scarecrow's fear toxin. But it acts differently. It only is enabled when someone is, hit with adrenaline or something. So whenever somebody gets an adrenaline rush, that's when it goes and it attacks them. So in essence, that's how it works. So anyways, they start to get, one of his friends, Robin's friend, who's like the quarterback, is getting, he's choking and all that. Then Robin, all of a sudden, when he's on a mission, he's panicking constantly. So he's kind of going through the same thing Batman did in the episode Nothing to Fear. And he's got to overcome it, and so on and so forth, and they got to stop the Scarecrow. Now, I'm a fan of the Scarecrow, but I think in some of these earlier episodes, he's not quite as interesting. He's not as good as he is in the new Batman Adventures, and that's one of the few updates that the new Batman Adventures did. Whenever the Scarecrow showed up in the new Batman Adventures, I was scared shitless. He is way more terrifying on that show than he is on this one. It's just the simple motivation is just chemicals are expensive, Batman. I'm like, yeah, I guess so. I mean, he's just doing it for a quick buck, which, in hindsight, is pretty smart on his part. So, yeah, that's what the Scarecrow does. Eventually, Batman and Robin quarter him down, and then they take him out, and then Robin's friend or whatever ends up, his friend Brian Rogers signs a huge deal, and then he's happy, and then he's like, yeah, I'll be sure to congratulate him with a telegram. And that's in essence what happens, and that's the end of the episode. So, what do I think of it? I think I like this one a little more than the last episode I just reviewed, which was Vendetta, but not as much as, say, Joker's Favor. I don't know, it sometimes depends on the mood, but, after watching both back-to-back, I definitely felt like I enjoyed Fear of Victory more. But, yeah, that's pretty much the gist of it. I'm trying to think if there's anything else really to say about this one. Nothing too unique about this one that ultimately stands out, but I do think compared to, I don't know if I'd say it's as good as the first Scarecrow episode, which was Nothing to Fear, but I do think the Scarecrow does get better in the new Batman Adventures as opposed to the original animated series, but that's just me. So, don't know what else I can really say about this one. I did like kind of the cameos. The Joker was a good one, and you see Two-Face and Poison Ivy in that, so I thought that was kind of cool. since we've already had them established at this point. But yeah, it also was cool to see Batman and Robin in an episode together. There's not as many in the earlier stuff as you would hope, but it does get better. So yeah, that's all I gotta say here. Should I say anything else? Sorry about all these last two videos that I'm doing. They're not quite as good as they should be, but I'm kind of scatterbrained right now. But yep, I'm gonna go through the next episode, which is the Clock King. See if I have anything interesting to say about that one, and yeah, I'll talk to you later. Bye bye.